Hi, guys, and welcome to Tickers from the Limitless podcast. On this series, we review listed companies on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I'm Matthew,
And I'm Thaon.
and today we'll be talking about Carib Cement Company, ticker as CCC. But before we get into the video, we would love if you guys would subscribe if you're watching on YouTube or follow us on your podcasting platform of choice. It really means a lot to us. We're aiming for 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. So if you're watching this in 2026, hopefully we hit that goal. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's get started.
How are you feeling about Carib Cement, Thaon?
Household name, blue chip stock, CCC, Carib Cement. Carib Cement been around. To me, it feels like From the Devil Was a Boy, but I'm not that old.
Yeah, I'm sure we all used to drive. People are probably driven by their factory near the. If you've ever driven like to the Kingston Airport, the Norman Manley, you've driven by there. Just maybe we didn't know.
Yeah,
that they're a listed company.
Yeah,
I wish I'd known.
Yeah, I used to see some stories on like Twitter and so on about people saying their parents bought shares when Carib Cement was like $2-3. I said $2-3. Carib Cement's almost at $100. What do you mean? Yeah, would have put house money in Carib Cement at $3. Crazy. Look at them, I build house. Ironic. All right, let's get it.
Yeah. So as usual in our tickers format, how does the company make money? What's going on around the company? What could happen in the future? Who owns it? And adding in something new this time. What's the sentiment around it? Yeah. So how does Carib Cement Company make money? Well, they manufacture cement. So I did a little research into what's the process of making cement. Essentially
giving people Easter eggs on how we research stocks. Love that.
Yeah. So essentially what you do, there's minerals, like resources, you'd say. Limestone, things like limestone and stuff like that. If you didn't know, Jamaica has a lot of limestone. And we actually have some of the highest quality, or apparently have some of the highest quality limestone in the world. Like most of our country is limestone. So we are just lucky that, hey, we have a lot of this limestone. And, you mine the limestone, basically you crush it up, then you heat it up, you cool it, all that stuff. And then you get some materials, and then that can be essentially used to make cement. So cement is essentially made from, a big part of that is limestone, and you just process that limestone into what we know as cement. And so Carib Cement is in that business. I say, hey, we'll mine it or buy it from someone or whatever, crush it up, process it, and then sell the cement in the bags. People probably know like that, the cement bags, and then, you can apply cement, you wet it and whatnot, mold it, and then that's how you get, a lot of the things that we construct. So in Jamaica, one of the things I guess I was realizing that you realize that a cement company in one country could do better because, like in Jamaica, we make a lot of our houses out of cement, but you realize, for example, in the US, I think they do a lot more wood. So yes, they do involve cement in other stuff, by realizing that, hey, that's actually something that's good for Carib Cement. The fact that we build a lot of our houses and stuff with cement, that increases the demand of cement, in the country and stuff.
I guess because I feel like you still need cement in
other stuff too. I'm saying like that's in addition, I guess. So it's like it's not just
for house, like the foundation, a lot of other stuff. I'm not into construction, but I feel like cement is still heavily used. I guess it's not in every house in America, so I do get you. Like a lot of them are, just
wooden
wood.
houses.
Yeah, and it makes sense based on when you think of their winters. Wood is, I don't know if wood is better for insulation or so on, but being able to pack an insulator between wooden panels and so, I don't know, maybe it's easier. Maybe it's not as cold on the feet and so on when they have harsh winters. But I understand why. But yeah, we use in the Caribbean we use a lot of cement for houses.
Yeah.
So and it's
So
kind
the
of cool
cement.
learning that whole process because
Mm.
I mean I've never. This is the only reason I know how cement is made is just because of Carib Cement. It's just doing the
Mm.
research. And I guess you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
talk about like the kiln and all of those stuff. But yeah, it's kind of cool to see the reaction and
Mm-hmm.
all of that.
Yeah, yeah. So the kiln, yeah. So this, yeah. So essentially, they do that processing and stuff of the cement, and then they'll sell it to, they'll sell it to like hardware stores, to developers that say, okay, we want to build this bridge, or we don't really use it for roads that much. Carib Cement does like have some programs where they'll actually build cement roads versus asphalt roads, because the
Hmm.
cement roads actually last a lot longer can last a lot longer than the asphalt roads.
Yeah, you've driven
Um,
on cement roads.
yeah, Carib Cement
Mm-hmm.
near their, if you drive near their, right near their factory, it's a cement road for that part. It's not a very long
Mm.
segment, but yeah, that part is, and I think it also helps for them because they have trucks and stuff coming in, bringing in, the raw materials and whatnot. So if those heavy trucks are driving on that, I'm sure if it was asphalt for those parts, maybe it's more likely to get damaged. So they're like, hey, it makes sense because like, hey, we'll pay this so that we don't have to deal with that issue.
You know which other
Um,
road? I don't know if you've ever driven in Fern Gully, but
oh
Fern Gully,
yeah,
that's
yeah, and that road
all
has been
cement.
lasting a really long time. I guess people don't really drive on it as much now,
Yeah, but
but
that's
yeah.
because, and it makes sense because how I understand, well, Fern Gully, they used to get like a lot of rain. That actually used to be where a river or water used to run a lot. To
Mm,
cut out that almost like it's like a gorge, but to cut out that
mm-hmm,
piece of land, apparently water used to run there. So I don't
mm-hmm,
know if that's why they decided because maybe it rains a lot and it's exposed to a lot of the elements and so on. But it's also cool that how they build cement roads with almost
mm-hmm,
like gaps to expand, when the sun comes out and heats the cement and it expands, so it fills up some space. And so, like, I love, physics
mm-hmm,
and those things are my first love. Engineering, I would have done in another life. But
mm-hmm,
yeah, nah, I think it's pretty cool. More roads should be built with cement for sure.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's some of what they manufacture cement. And I remember I was mentioning that Jamaica has a lot of limestone. There was
Hmm.
like an article. Let me share it. There's this Gleaner article I was talking about. This is from December 1st, 2024. They're talking about limestone is by far the most abundant mineral in Jamaica. We apparently have 50 to 60 billion tons spread across the island, and it's one of the richest. We are one of the richest regions in the world when it comes to limestone reserves. And limestone isn't just used to, for example, make cement. There's other things that it can be used to make. Apparently, it's used to make things like fertilizers, animal feed. It's even used sometimes in like water treatment and stuff. So
Mm.
I did see something nice that it was speaking about that that we've been exporting heavily. Like we upped our exports of limestone apparently. Well, there's a green article, June 2024, export of limestone up by 300%. Like we've been
I
apparently
want.
pushing. I want to see stuff like this making headlines, yo. Saying,
Well,
see
it
the.
depends on where they're getting the limestone from, because I remember
Mm-hmm,
there was like a lot of
mm-hmm,
um, I guess negative press because they wanted to excavate parts of the cockpit country.
mm-hmm,
Start doing quarrying and so on up there, and the
mm-hmm,
environmentalists and so on were just like no. And I agree.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, preserve as much natural state
You
of
don't think there's a way
Jamaica
that they could do it where
sustainably.
it doesn't? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the quarrying process. So
Mm-hmm,
maybe there is, but I think the whole process itself is just not very environmentally friendly because you're literally just digging up the land and digging up
mm-hmm,
areas. So unless it's like a zone where NEPA says, all right, this won't affect anything, it
mm-hmm,
won't affect the water table, the environment, etc., then I'm not really. Yeah, I don't know. I
mm-hmm.
don't know. But Jamaica needs money, so we're in a capitalist society, unfortunately. So
Mm-hmm.
the guys with the real money will talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. They use that. Limestone's the heavy material that we use to make the cement, and then we have lots of that limestone. And apparently, did you know that there's different types of cement?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can mix in different things based on like different uses and stuff like that. So there's like, I was looking up, there's Portland cement and blended cement. So we make a lot of Portland cement, which is like the main cement used worldwide. And like goes into like different properties of it and whatnot. But yeah, the point is, yeah, they make cement. Yeah, we have a lot of the material that they need to make the cement. They have at times they actually have Carib Cement has actually imported cement. I saw this article was talking about like in 2017 there was a time where like we were low on cement, or we actually had to import cement. So sometimes when Carib Cement is short on cement, they themselves actually do have to import cement. And something that's interesting too, Carib Cement actually speaks to, so this is a Gleaner article March 1st, 2024. They were saying that they are actually close. Well, back then they were close to their full capacity of about 1 million tons of cement. So, that's why I know we'll get into that. We'll talk about them doing some upgrades, because essentially the market is eating up their cement. So they're producing. And I guess I like to see stuff like that. Like when a company has, it's like they're telling, hey, we have people really like, businesses, whatever, really like our product and they're buying it up, versus, we have all of this product and it's just sitting down and, we're not selling it. I like to see stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of some of the things, so in terms of some of the things I think it's important to look at with like Carib Cement, naturally most of this cement that Carib Cement makes is used in Jamaica. So, and as you said, if you think about demand versus supply, you'd want to see if Jamaica, for example, is saying, hey, we have all of these big infrastructure upgrades and whatnot, or essentially we have a high demand for cement. And so if you're saying, okay, right now we have a high demand for cement because Carib Cement is saying, hey, sometimes they're just meeting that supply. Then if the Jamaican government is saying, hey, we want to even spend more and more money growing, or building buildings and building highways and whatever, hotels, things like that, that's a good sign for Carib Cement. So if you look at, I'll be following things like that. The hotel industry, there's a lot of these mega hotels going up. Pinnacle Hotel, Harmony Cove, Princess Hotel. There's a lot of these hotels, and that can be more money for them, because as we said, we build a lot of our buildings with cement. So it's not just the foundation, it's the walls and all that stuff. So if they're all these really high buildings, and if they need cement, then it helps them out. So, and then highways to the government is speaking about a lot of different projects. And so not the road itself, but you have to have, for the highways that go through like the mountains and whatnot, you have to have support, and a lot of that support is using things like cement to help you. So I'd be following things like that, because if I'm seeing, okay, the government is planning out this or planning to spend this amount, so you look at how much they're spending on infrastructure maybe this year, they're going to be spending 20% more or 30% more and whatnot. Those are good signs possibly for Carib Cement, because that could be business that they could get. And then even, for example, I'd probably follow the budget update for the 2025 to 2026 budget is likely, I think it's in March. So that's something I would look at too, because the government will tell you, hey, we're planning to spend this amount of money. Last year I spent this one, so maybe last year I spent 100 million or 100 billion or whatever. We're now going to spend, what if they were saying we're going to spend 200 billion? So that'll be a doubling in that. Yes, not all of that will be on cement, but as I said, cement is a significant portion of that. So that can mean more money for Carib Cement. Other things they mentioned that's important is that in Jamaica, Carib Cement is the sole manufacturer of cement. Yes, other people technically sell cement other than Carib Cement, but they have to import it from other countries. And the government essentially limits how much they can import. So Carib Cement is like, I think it's like 80% or so. And there are some other competitors. So there's Buying House Cement. They are a company that part of them is like they're partly owned by a Dominican Republic cement manufacturer, which is Domisem, and then partly owned by a Jamaican company, which is listed, Cargo Handlers. And so I guess it made sense. They were saying, hey, cargo handlers will work on importing, cargo handlers associates will buying house cement. We will import the cement because Dominican Republic is a really massive producer of cement. So they say, hey, we'll pull in the cement, the extra that isn't met, or the whatever the government says that we can. And they are allowed to pull in, I think, 120,000 metric tons of cement. And I mean, so that'd be something I'd also look out for, because what if, for example, the government changes it and says, hey, we are going to allow these other companies that are importing cement to import more cement? That could be maybe not as hot for Carib Cement. I mean, the size of those companies are usually they're smaller, a lot smaller compared to Carib Cement, but it's still something to, I guess.
Yeah, even this is small, and I think the beautiful. Oh well, you have it up there. Sorry, you're saying it supplies more Western Jamaica. Yeah, I know they're on that side, that end. Up by, is it Montego Bay?
Yeah,
I'm almost sure it's around Montego Bay. So yeah.
And then there's this other company called WT Limited. They got a license to import 50,000 metric tons of cement in 2021. As I said, it's a lot smaller, because Carib Cement does like 1 million metric tons. So it's a small thing, but maybe another thing would be to, what if they lose their license and Carib Cement can, push more, So yeah. And, I'd also check out, I think last year there was a point where there were cement shortages. One of the things that faces Carib Cement is that sometimes they have to shut down the factory to like do maintenance, because they're like, hey, we have to maintain the machines, because remember, these are very complex machines. They do high temperatures for some of them, cold temperatures, whatever. And so over time you want to maintain it, because if you don't maintain it, it'll mash up and then it costs more money. So they do sometimes have shortages where they say, hey, we'll have to maintain it. One of the things I did mention, that I think with the upgrade that they're doing, it should hopefully decrease those downtimes, because like they're going to be upgrading the machines, and it should be like newer machines and such. So maybe with the shortages, that downtime maybe can be reduced. But they do typically have annual maintenance. So sometimes you'll see like a quarter where they'll mention, oh, we reported less revenues because for a few days or a few weeks, whatever, the machines had to be down for maintenance. And it makes sense, because you're like, hey, you don't want them to mash up and then cost more money.
Yeah.
Other thing to watch, interest rates, because interest rates is like really the cost of money. So money, when interest rates are lower, it means that the cost of a loan is essentially cheaper. So it can make it more. It can make say someone is going to do a development, and it would cost them $1 million US to build up these houses, and they pay 10%. They pay. No, I'm saying the developer. Like a developer is saying, hey, I'm going to build this complex or whatnot, and say it's going to cost me $1 million US or whatever. If you're paying 10% interest on that, that's $100K US, versus if the interest rate on your loan is cheaper, it'd be 5%. Maybe that makes it cheaper. It makes it easier for you to do, because it's like less cost you have to think of. So if interest rates, I think they are somewhat trending down. If they trend down or continue to trend down, that could make it that, hey, more developers, the cost of our project is actually cheaper. And so maybe someone who was holding off and say, hey, I can't afford to build this property or build this development, it's like they're more incentivized to say, hey, yo, money is cheap. I can go get a loan from the bank at a good rate. Maybe I'm more likely to develop. So that could help, encourage more.
It also trickles down to homeowners or potential homeowners too. Because if now interest rates are going down, mortgage rates can also go down if they're variable mortgage rates. So you could shop around to get a cheaper mortgage. So if you're now looking to buy a house and then the rates are down, that theoretically should increase the amount of people buying houses, and the demand for buying houses also trickles to building houses to meet that demand as well. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, and one of the other things is that Carib Cement's ultimate parent company is actually quite a large company called Cemex. So the CE is for cement, Mex is for Mexican, because it's like a Mexican cement company. And they are actually listed. You know that they're actually listed, I think, on the NASDAQ. Yeah, the NASDAQ Stock Exchange. Yeah.
I wonder what
So
their
they're actually
market cap
listed.
is.
Market cap is 9.8 billion US.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 10
Multi-billion
billion
dollar
US.
company.
Ooh.
Yeah. They're quite a big company. So yeah, that's even something to look at too. Because, you know, maybe I'd follow them because, okay, maybe what if there was things going on with that parent company? Yeah, I mean, Carib Cement is a different company, but maybe
still,
that parent
yeah.
company could be doing well or not doing so hot. Maybe they're strapped for cash. Maybe they'd want to sell Carib Cement or whatnot.
No, that's
So that's
great. I did
something.
not even realize they were listed. Did you
Yeah.
you realize though that what's that? 10 billion US is 1.5 trillion Jamaican?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. That's insane. Just the scale, because you could compare it to the market cap of Carib Cement. I could actually check that. But if the market cap of their parent company is 1.5 trillion, let me find. I'll find it. And we compare.
Trading at a PE of 11. Yeah, so they actually report earnings and stuff like that. So if you're maybe a Carib Cement investor, that's something that I would possibly track. Like, how is their parent company doing? You know, are they under pressure? Are they doing well? I saw on Wikipedia it was going into like some stats about them. They are in more than 50 countries. This is Cemex. In 2020, they were the 5th largest cement company in the world. They have over, well, at this time that they had done this, it was 64 cement plants. So they're a massive, massive, massive company. You know?
Yeah,
massive,
you can
massive,
compare it
massive.
because Carib Cement's market cap right now is 73 billion Jamaican. And when you compare that to the parent company's market cap of 1.5 trillion Jamaican dollars, yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah. Much big. And then the other things I'd watch is that Cemex is actually, so I mentioned that they're in multiple countries, right? So they're heavy in like, let me see. Oh, well, I'm showing them on screen, but lots of different countries all over the world. Spain, Colombia, Mexico, Nigeria, US, UK. They have a lot of different factories. So Jamaica is only a small portion of that. But they have actually been, Cemex, their parent company, has been actually selling different cement manufacturing businesses that they have. So they sold, and all of these were last year. So they sold Guatemala, Cemex, their business in Guatemala. They sold one in Dominican Republic. So and they even sold one in the Philippines. So that's something that I think is interesting. What they were saying was that,
and aren't they profitable businesses? Like
Damrep.
I know
Damrep, I think so. But I don't think they're public. But yeah, it probably can. But yeah, so they've been selling some of those operations and stuff. And what they were saying that they were like kind of reshuffling their money, like they're selling some in developed countries and then gonna use that cash to then focus in more developed countries and stuff. So it's like shifting around some cash. And the other thing I think is important is, President Donald Trump. He has been talking about, I think from before he was elected, he was talking about like imposing a lot of tariffs. I think this would be more for effect on Cemex, because I'm seeing like analysts on, this is from article from like Yahoo Finance, they were saying that analysts are actually downgrading the Cemex stock because Cemex apparently sells a ton of their cement that they manufacture in Mexico to the US. And then Trump is saying, hey, I'm going to put tariffs on the Mexico. So essentially that could make Mexican cement really expensive. So it's like, yo, you had a deal, you were selling your cement in the US, but then what if your cement is now much more expensive because someone could manufacture their cement in the US and they aren't faced with that tariff. So their goods aren't 25% more expensive or 20% more expensive. So they were actually saying that, hey, this actually may impact Cemex a lot because 30% of Cemex's revenues,
the US,
30% of the Mexican operations are exporting to the US. Yeah, or no, it says, hold on, about 80% of Mexico's exports are destined for the US. So yeah, it'll be interested to see, I guess, how if the tariffs and whatnot. I mean, every day is a different thing, but I don't know if the tariffs will come to play and whatnot. And yeah, I think I was
Yeah,
reading this. It
that's
was even talking about how much, apparently in the US, there's a lot of the, I think a lot of the cement in the US, a good portion of it actually comes from the US though. So it's not like they depend super heavily on imported cement. So I think Trump's plan is, if we make the other countries cement, Mexico, Canada, whatever, very expensive, US cement will be a lot cheaper, and then people will rush more to buy the US cement, and that can help, I guess, grow that business and such. But I guess we'll have to see.
yeah, I'm not entirely sure because I see what Trump plans to do in terms of growing and making America now a manufacturing superpower. But imagine when you think about it, right? If you impose
Mm-hmm.
tariffs on other countries, right? Wouldn't US grow, and like let's say you put a tariff on Mexican cement, wouldn't the price of domestic US cement also go up? Because now you've lessened competition.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think
Reduce
about
supply.
it, yeah, if you reduce supply, price will go up. That's just basic price and demand, like supply and
Mm-hmm.
demand. Sorry. So when you think about it, yes, the local manufacturers could keep it low, but what incentive do they have if there is minimal competition? So we'll see, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a big problem for Cemex still.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how
Yeah,
they
and
navigate that.
another thing that is important,
Yeah.
there was
Is it still important?
well, to that facet, so there is a large shareholder. Actually did up some charts on this. It looks pretty good. Pick up My Money JA for their annotation feature.
Yeah, use code Limitless, guys, to get 5% off My Money JA subscription. Code
Yeah, so
Limitless.
there was a large shareholder that was selling. So I'm showing the chart here. So one of the things I should mention. So we did say that Cemex is the ultimate parent company of Carib Cement Company. In 2021, they put out a notice to the Jamaica Stock Exchange saying that they essentially want to put in a royalty. And so a royalty is like you pay out, and it was based on the revenues, not the profit. So it's like, okay, if you sell 1 million US worth of goods, 1 million in revenue, not profit, 4% of that you have to pay to me before you even pay out other stuff. And so, yeah, you on that million US, what if your profit margin is 10%? So on a million US, you make 100K profit. That was before the royalty. If you are paying a 4% royalty, that's 40K US. So instead of making 100K profit, you'd be making 60K profit. And then from that profit, you would then pay out dividends. And then the largest shareholder is, the ultimate parent company is Cemex. So they are really getting a lot. They're eating money from both the dividend side because they're the largest shareholder, and they're eating money from the royalty side. So,
And it's crazy because that came at such a good time for Carib Cement. Because around
mm-hmm,
that time, they're posting good profits because they
mm-hmm,
refinanced the debt
mm-hmm.
from
I mean, would it have
financing.
made sense to come at a bad time? They couldn't have
No,
done it
of
really at
course.
a bad time. So yeah.
Agreed. But it's
Mm-hmm,
just it's so funny because I remember I was trading that stock too, and I remember exiting when it hit 100. I was just like, I hit 100. I've hit my goal. Let's
mm-hmm,
exit. And I remember buying it. I remember buying it. What was the price? I don't think it was it 70s, 60s, 70s. I feel like I was somewhere in the 70s when I bought that stock,
mm-hmm,
like early 70s. I can probably look back. I think it was maybe like 73. And selling at 100, I was like, oh, that was a great play. It was like
mm-hmm,
102. As a date spiked to 115 to or 150. I think it went as
mm-hmm,
high as 150. Just a few, shares traded. And at
mm-hmm,
that point, I was just like, yo, this stock can go to the moon, right? And it made sense because they're posting amazing profits, right? Because now they didn't have the huge burden of the debt. They
Mm-hmm.
were, it's much more profitable. They were considering dividends again, which we
And like
didn't
for
see a dividend for
years, I
years.
didn't
It's like a
see
decade probably that
more
they
than that, I
paid their
think. Yeah.
last. Yeah, that they paid their last dividend before that. So we're just like, yo, this company is going. This company is taking some wings, probably going 200.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you just say, well, I guess the chart shows it all. Sorry for the audio listeners, but if you look back on the charts,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see the price with a steep
Mm-hmm.
decline.
Yeah, it
Very,
was
very
really
steep
when
decline.
they announced the royalty, because the royalty I think was announced. This is right, November 16th. And if you
Mm-hmm.
notice, a few days after, the stock just tumbled,
Yep.
and something that there was a large shareholder who was very vocal. He was tweeting. So you can see this is, and then when did he start tweeting? November 19th. So he says cement drops to $73 this morning from yesterday's close, 81. He says, full disclosure, I am a seller of Carib Cement. November
Of course
19th.
you like that tweet.
And him says, some investors are overreacting to the announcement of the 4% royalty by Cemex, and the stock is now cheap, question mark. And notice that he's tweeting November 19th. And when was it the stock started? Well, actually, the stock started, heavy volume started trading November 18th.
Mm-hmm.
And then November 19th, the tweet started dropping, and it dropped from like 100 to, let me see, kept going down
Yeah, it went as low as 50s.
70s, 60s, and it just kept going down.
Yeah.
And if I can probably check to see at the time, let's see, this was 20.
I, I can't hate Chris Berry. I can't because I get it. And as bad as it must be for the investors, because I had friends that were buying on the come up, and even when it was falling and they didn't entirely understand why. I remember my Bridget said, yo, I just copped some at like $80, and then it fell to like 60s. And it's just,
Mm-hmm.
I can't hate him for it because I get it. Imagine you own a large chunk of this company, and the parent company
Mm-hmm.
says, yo, I don't care about you minority shareholders. I'm going to take what is mine.
Mm-hmm.
The power of the market, man, the power of ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they sold millions. I think they were like this. They're one of the largest shareholders at the time, and they sold tons and tons and
Maybe I
tons of
was
units,
definitely top
millions of
four, I
US,
think. Yeah.
millions of US. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that kind of affected well, I mean, stock supply and demand, well, asset supply and demand. So if you have a shareholder who is increasing the supply, and yeah, there's some amount of demand, but if the supply is more than the demand, the price cannot be held up, and it's dropped, as we said, from as high of like 100 to like 50s or so.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's why it's
they've sold
important.
quite a lot of Carib Cement.
Yeah, it's important to know
Mm-hmm.
who's in the top 10 at all times,
Or who owns
right?
the company.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, anything like this can play. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you could see it in Mayberry. MJE's top disposals for like that entire year. You could see it. How much millions of US dollars of stock of, well, yeah, valuation, so of stock that they were dumping because they just didn't believe in that. So that's why I say I can't even fault Chris Berry for doing something like this, because if you're not
Mm-hmm.
if you do not align with what the company stands for, just leave. Just leave. And you can
Mm-hmm.
see it right there, Preston, showing this is,
Well,
well, I know you're looking through
oh.
some of the results. This was year end December 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and they just continued to sell after 2021, 2022. They just kept selling. So is he still
Mm-hmm.
in? I think he's still in top 10 though.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that, but they've sold quite I don't know if they're like, okay, we've sold enough. We're done selling, but yeah, I think that's important. I think that's probably why, yeah, well, up to September 2024, they are 10th largest shareholder. They still sold some though, 100K units. And I'm sure if we check other reports today, we're continuously selling. So yeah, but that's something to look out for if they were to, want to sell more.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are some of the stuff I thought were important to look at with the company. And in terms of some of the possible futures, they are pushing to export cement. I think that's a big part of why they want to do the 30% upgrade, because remember we were saying before that they're saying that the demand they were having for the products was they were barely able to meet it. And as we said, sometimes there were shortages when the plant had to go down, but they're saying, hey, we have this high demand, all these infrastructure upgrades planned, let's upgrade our capacity. And they had announced that they would be doing a 30% upgrade. I think it was actually announced 2021, and up to the most recent timeline I saw was that they said the first quarter of 2025 is when they hope, and first quarter of 2025, that's within the first quarter, so that's basically
that's now.
March, by March 2025, and pretty big upgrade. I think at one point they had announced saying it would cost 51 mil US, or that's about 8 billion Jamaican. It's a massive upgrade. So they possibly could be able to sell 30% more cement. So that would be, I think, pretty big, can bring in some more revenues and stuff. And then I think they're saying like the factory is supposed to be, more efficient too. So there could be more efficiency. So it may not just necessarily be a 30% increase in revenue. I don't know, but could be, maybe they can get some, cost savings and stuff like that. And I guess one of the things I was looking at that I think could happen was the parent company Cemex could technically sell Carib Cement,
Yeah.
I was thinking that if you're going to sell something, maybe you turned around the company. As I said, in the past, Carib Cement was doing poorly. They had there were years where they made losses. They fixed up the business. They bought the business, fixed it up. At one point, Carib Cement was actually owned by the government of Jamaica.
Yeah,
so Cemex came in, bought it, fixed it up. And now that maybe they're saying, hey, let's just do this last fix up, upgrade the capacity, spend this money, whatnot, and maybe let's just sell it, just like we sold those other, because we said, remember Cemex, they sold other, was it Guatemala? They sold one in the Philippines, Damrep, so I think that's
is TCL
interesting.
Next? Is CCC next?
Maybe, because I saw there's a Reuters article, February 6, 2025. They're saying that they said Cemex has exited a number of non-core businesses to shift its focus towards the U.S. market. And last year sold off its operations, as we said, in Philippines, Guatemala, and Damrep. And they said they want
market now. Wow, that's terrible.
And now they said that they want to grow through small to medium-sized acquisitions, primarily in the US. So maybe they're like, hey, and I guess it makes sense now, because then if they buy a US company, then they could avoid the tariff then. Versus if they're Mexican factory or they're whatever other country factory, and then they have to export it.
I guess it depends on their ownership structure too. But I agree. If they, true. If they buy a US company, yes, they should avoid the tariffs.
Yeah.
So it is possible. And they'd probably get more cash for that.
Yeah, and so maybe, they sell this big cement producer in a country with almost a monopoly on cement. I was actually doing some
I wonder who would have the money to buy Carib Cement if Cemex sells. Well, I mean,
it's multinational companies, so
it's still TCL that owns majority, no? Of Carib Cement. So it's not really Cemex we have to worry about, but ultimately it is Cemex we'd have to worry about.
Because Cemex could just say, hey, we'll sell TCL, and then TCL, under TCL is TCL's Trinidad Cement Limited. Under TCL is Carib Cement. So they just sell both of them. They say, yo, you get two things. And the TCL, I think, is in more than I don't think TCL is just in, they're in Trinidad and Jamaica, but I don't think they're just in Trinidad and Jamaica. So maybe they say, hey, you can get more than one country for the price of one business. Yeah. So I was trying to do some math on. So remember how I said they sold the Damrep factory, right? Damrep factory produces 2.5 million metric tons of cement a year, and they sold it for 950 mil US, right? So I was working on, okay, what price were they paying? What price did whoever the buyer was pay per metric ton or like production for the factory? And so that was 380 US per metric ton that was produced. So I was trying to say, okay, maybe you could use that as somewhat of a benchmark for Carib Cement. So I was like, okay, Carib Cement after the upgrade, remember they fix it up. If they do the 1.3 mil metric tons, so they can produce 1.3 million metric tons of cement a year. What happens if they were to produce it at or sell it at the same 380 metric tons? And then what would that that price be? So that was working out, that would be like a price of 93 Jamaican per share. So Carib Cement is currently trading at what? To 86.29 as of today. Because one of the things I should look at, what's the ownership? So I'm just mentioning, because to delist it, you'd want to get the 80%, but they already essentially control it because they have 79%. So it wouldn't really be that hard to. But yeah, I guess I was trying to do some like rough math. But then I was like, okay, that would be if they bought at that same price. But then what if they'd say, okay, we're going to do it at a slight premium? I don't know if because the thing I was looking at with the Cemex Damrep, yes, that factory was bigger. Like it could produce more, but I feel like there's value in Carib Cement because there's additional value because it's the single manufacturer in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay, maybe that's like you could, upward, you add that up and to say, because like for the Cemex Damrep,
not even just that, like it's also strategically located right by the port, which we have the 7th largest natural harbor in the world. Like there are a lot of other factors about Carib Cement why it's such a prized possession.
Yeah,
could be selling at a premium.
Because I looked at it, I was like, the Damrep in total can produce 11 million metric tons of cement a year. So the one that they sold was 2.5 mil. So 2.5 of 11. So that factory was really just 23. That was 23% of the cement production in Damrep. So I was like, okay, maybe things like that could make them possibly pay it at like a higher premium or a premium. So you could be getting it at, I was saying, if they paid at like a 20% premium on that, that'd be like 111 buy price. So imagine that announcement on our market. Someone Takeover, could have Takeover bid would have to drop and whatnot for it. And I actually, so remember how I was saying they sold some of the businesses. One of the businesses that they sold was actually listed on a stock exchange, and the share price flew on that announcement. So it was the Philippine Stock Exchange. So there's an article that came out. It says up to, well, this is Filipinos. Is that the name? Or billion dollar? I guess that's their dollar. So they said the market's abuzz with speculation over how much Konsunji is willing to pay to buy out Cemex. This was February 7th, 2024. That business wasn't really doing so hot. Apparently, they're saying that they had a lot of debt. And Reuters, which is like a news outlet, said that they could possibly be buying it for up to 715 mil US. And they said that the stock flew essentially as much as 75% the first 2 trading days of the week on that news.
Wow.
Because people were just so excited. They're like, hey, oh my gosh, they're going to buy it out. And I guess at the time, a specific price wasn't agreed to. So there was, I guess, people were wondering, hey, what could the price be? Okay, it's trading at $80. What if it's a premium? What if it's $100? What if it's $150? What if it's $200? So, that was like, hey, that could happen they actually even apparently hinted at it before. They were saying that they caution investors in their annual reports that the Cemex might not remain the controlling shareholder in the future as it pursues high growth areas with lower risk. So, and I was like, this is interesting, because this was a business where they're saying they were having issues, paying their debt, but like Carib Cement isn't really having any issues paying it. So I'm like, maybe, apparently the funny part though is that the price ended up, when it came out about the official price, it was lower than the market price. So then the stock then tumbled. So I'm trying to work, maybe I can find it on this chart here. How do I work this? Oh. So I want to be seated. So when it was announced, this is in, so it flew up. So this is what, 89, it's like 89 Filipinos or Filipino cents. Then when it was announced, it flew up to like $2 Filipinos. And then when it ended up coming out to this price, it drops drastically. But it recovered after. So yeah, I think that's something to look out for, because maybe, as we said, they're selling those other operations. Let me see what the final price was. So this isn't saying the price. Well, yeah, essentially the price wasn't, I guess, what the market had expected at the time. But yeah, maybe that's something to look out for, because if they could sell one of their subsidiaries to like free up some money, and maybe they say, let's sell this business, it's a really good business, we can get a good price for it, and then we take that money and we buy a US cement manufacturer, because we don't want to be in this, we prefer to be in the US. So yeah, I think that is going to be interesting. And in terms of like the sentiments around it, we mentioned how it was been trading. I looked at like how some of the analysts, I guess, feel about it. JMMB, their team did a research paper. This was late 2023, October 2023. I think, did they put a price target? I think that they thought it was, I'm trying to see how the brokers feel about it. I'm sure the brokers love it still. They were saying their price target, oh wow, their price target was hit. They said a lower price target of $50 or a higher price target of $78, which would have been a 59% gain. And yet it hit that target. So kudos to them. I saw Mayberry. Mayberry had it at a featured stock on their analysis and whatnot. This was January this year, January 2025. I don't think they put like a price target though, but they speak about all the expansion plans and all that stuff. And IC Insider, I know, was talking about it. And yeah, I mean, even right now, I did some rough numbers. So they, up to the time of recording, they have released their 9 months, which ended September 2024. So I was like, okay, their 2023 year, they sold about revenues of 28 billion, and they did profits of 5.5 billion.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, if that factory upgrade comes into play, whatnot, so 30% over that'd be them doing revenues of 36 billion. And if they maintain somewhat similar profit margins, they could be doing 7.2 billion in profit. That'd be a massive, another nice massive increase in profit. And as we said, there are a lot of infrastructure upgrades and stuff planned. I guess we can't wait for the official like Jamaican budget for this year. But it's trading now at, let's see, at the 2020, we said today it is trading at a PE of what is this? PE of 12 at the current plan. So maybe, with maybe some good reports dropping, maybe they announced that they increased their dividends. There's a lot of news, there could be a lot of news coming out about the upgrade, because I'm sure like people have been talking about upgrade, but then, you know, on the background, like when the results come out, or Carib Cement reports record profits on the heels of whatever expansion. Maybe there's talks about the construction industry and whatnot. You know, I think if you know MJE doesn't sell very hard and whatnot, but yeah, I don't see why the stock couldn't be at least $100.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, throwing in that possibility of them being sold, and then, you know, maybe it's coming out at a premium. That'd be something that'd be very interesting, you know.
I guess
it's hard to even judge how high the stock could be.
It's so funny how you know different companies react. You'll see like different reactions to things like that, because even with, well, we're recording this in February 20th of February, right? The news of Dolphin Cove's parent company being bankrupt. It's just so funny to see that the stock price has dipped. You know, with them possibly they may sell, you know, Dolphin Cove. That's a possibility. However, with Cemex, the response could be the opposite. It's just so interesting to see how shareholders view a lot of these things. I don't know, but as for Carib Cement, $100 is pretty. I don't think it's unlikely at all. I think it's pretty doable, and they've hit that before. So who knows? History might repeat itself.
It would be a good exit. I'm even trying to think of the implications. If you look at, I think QWI has like a heavy holding. MJE still has a pretty nice holding. So if they were to, that'd be them liquidating a few million US.
Yeah,
that's a nice gain. You know, if they sell Guardian Life is in the top 10. Select MD. Wow. Okay. Sagicor is up in their Guardian Life. Scotia. So yeah. So Carib Cement, I'd say, yeah, I think it could be like $100 stock, especially with like some of the news coming out about the expansion on the background of some nice reports, background of all these infrastructure upgrades. And then you throw in the possibility of I don't know if that announcement came out about them being sold and stuff, and then maybe they say, hey, we're going to take over the company. What if they say they want to delist it? I think you could definitely see probably like 150. Yeah.
I mean, it's touched there before, so anything is possible. 150. One to watch, eh? One to watch. Guys, if you love this episode, drop a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are. What's your sentiment around Carib Cement? Do you like it? What do you think may happen? You think Cemex will actually sell from Jamaica? Their prize jewel? One way to find out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit like, please subscribe, help us to reach our targets, and we love you. Big up yourselves. Limitless out.
Peace.